Hi, welcome back to Mindful Living, Empowering Women Over 50. I'm Rebecca, and today we're going to dive into a deeply personal topic. It's basically been something that's been weighing heavily on my mind to talk about, and I think it's no better time than now. We're going to talk about healing childhood trauma after the age of 50. So, this is something that's been part of my journey, and I definitely know I'm not alone in this. And if you're on a similar path, I want you to know it's never too late to heal and grow. And it's also it's a constant journey. I'd like to share with you my story, the challenges, the breakthroughs, and the tools that I learned and use today to be able to get through sometimes days, sometimes hours. So, these tools actually have helped me find peace and reclaim my power of being a woman and my power of just myself. So, I am a survivor of sexual molestation for years um, by multiple family members and a friend of a step sibling. I also experienced for many years my mother getting physically abused by her third husband and his mental abuse towards me. And they always say that abusers always picks one child out to abuse, and I happen to be it. There was a lot of other things that happened, dysfunctional things that happened throughout my teenage years, but the list is quite long, and I'm sure we'll have plenty of time to talk about in the future. But the encounters happened during my formative years of a teenager. And these, of course, are the years that you experience significant development in our identity, our values, beliefs, behaviors. I mean, everything that influences our future life, uh, our choices, and our overall personality. And boy, did these behaviors ever affect everything that happened to me and to my environment for my future. And I grew up in the 60s and 80s, with most of my teenage years falling into the 70s. And during this period, seeking therapy just it was never an option. At least in my demographic area that I grew up, that was just, it just didn't happen. Mental health was not high on priority in those days either. So, like many other teens, I found my own type of therapy to self medicate and manage my daily um, thinking and feelings during this time. So, I wasn't a drinker. There were too many other things that gave me the necessary therapeutic results at that time, which was basically allowing me to not think about it when it was all going on around me during that time. That's the only way I could deal with it. But the impact of childhood trauma leaves such an imprint um, on us that can persist into adulthood, and it shapes who we are, and also the way we look at the world and the way we act out in the world. And even as we age, those old wounds can surface in unexpected ways. Throughout my 20s through my 50s, I just wanted the memories to go away. I fought that so hard, and I constantly battled with this. And at 61, I've realized that healing is not about erasing the past, but understanding how it affects the present. I mean, what goes on with you now? I can't ever get rid of it. Um, have you ever noticed like patterns in your relationship or the fears, or even the things that you say to yourself that it traces back to your childhood. And for me, it's been a journey of, like connecting all of the dots together and understanding the roots of certain beliefs and behaviors. Um, I had multiple triggers that, if I allowed them to take charge, would send me into what I call a black hole. And basically a deep depression. That was my black hole. I wanted to self-destruct by beating myself up and only seeing the negative things over the years. I just felt like I deserved to feel this way. I didn't deserve anything good or positive in my life. Um, and then 4 years ago, I'm sorry, 4 years ago, I realized if I did not get professional help, I would no longer be alive. I was self medicating with alcohol, which in turn does nothing but cause more darkness and depression. I participated in a program on the other side of the United States and left my family for a month and a half. But it was the best thing I ever did. This is where everything that I had ever been suppressing for my entire life just spewed out. That experience was traumatic, but in a, an actual healing way. Um, I learned so much while I was gone. And armed with these new mental health diagnoses and an understanding how my behaviors and choices I made over my entire life, they basically were a result of the trauma that happened to me. And I came back with tools to help manage my life. Oh, I discovered at that time that healing was a lifelong journey. Like I said at the beginning, I just wanted to wipe it out. And I realized then I can't wipe it out. And one of the biggest lessons I've learned is that healing isn't a just one and done deal. Um, it's a process that evolves with us. And each stage of life, um, it'll bring like new challenges and opportunities for growth. But at 61, I found that wisdom to approach healing with a greater self compassion, not to just beat myself up so badly. And I continue to this day to meet with a therapist. And I actually, she introduced me to EMDR, which is like an eye movement desensitization and reprocessing therapy. That's what the EMDR stands for. And that was for my diagnosis of PTSD. And I never agreed with that PTSD. But now that I see the definition of that, I always thought it was for people that came back from the war. But no, it's for anyone that has experienced any kind of trauma in their life. Um, Life experiences, maturing, and mindfulness activities that I learned have given me the tools I didn't have in my 30s and 40s, even in the beginning of my 50s, which that would have been so important while I raised my children. Oh, God, I wish I would have had that. And it's okay if the journey feels ongoing, because every step we take deepens our understanding and resilience. Um, and healing isn't about fixing what's broken. It's really about nurturing the parts of us that really need that extra acceptance, love, and care. So, I mentioned at the beginning that I wanted to share with you some of the steps that I did for healing and getting through this and learning. I learned these when I went over into therapy. The first one is the mindfulness practices. And these are just basically very simple practices like your deep breathing, your meditations, your uh, journaling. I mean, something as easy as that. And it helped you stay present, grounded, and you could do these without any sense of judgment. I mean, there was nobody there telling you, or this little voice in your head could be there, but you could write it all out, or you could work it out in that meditation, or um, the journaling. And the second one is I did continue therapy. There's therapy and support groups. I did not do support groups. I'm better in a one on one. And you need to find someone that specializes in trauma. Um, if therapy isn't for you, though, I really do highly recommend that you seek out a support group. And it really has an incredible power in sharing experiences. The next one would be body awareness, because trauma will live in your body. It will stay there forever. And my anxiety, it would come out in anger. I'd get so anxious and then I would just explode. Yoga, Tai Chi, meditation, those, and even walking. Walking was mine. I'm not a Tai Chi person, but meditation, yoga, I try. But it's going to help you release that extra tension, and it brings a sense of peace to yourself. Setting boundaries, learning to say no, and I have a video on that. So please feel free to watch that. It will protect your energy. It's something new in my life. I feel being an overachiever wasn't by choice. Keeping crazy busy kept me from having any type of downtime to think about everything in my past. I really do feel that that's why I'm an overachiever. I'm presently, though, selling my big business that has 2 stores. That was extremely time consuming. And God, it's a way that I am going to prioritize my well being. I am so excited about that. It's going to take a lot off and let me be present in my life. Learning to forgive. This is yourself and others. And forgiveness isn't always about uh, condoning what happened to you, but feeling that ourselves from it's holding you back. I'm not one to forgive the ones that caused this trauma to me. I won't ever. That's just not my makeup. But some people believe that if you don't forgive others, then you cannot move on. Uh, I mean, that's fine if you believe that. I don't feel that that's true. I think that, I mean, I'd be lying to myself if I forgave those monsters that did the things they did to me. However, I feel self forgiveness is especially healing for me. Asking for forgiveness from the ones that I hurt in my life because of my behaviors and my poor choices that I made. It was very difficult, but it was very necessary to part of my healing process. I mean, to be able to get through all my processes of healing. So try integrating even one of these practices into your life, and you'll see that it will make a difference. And small steps can lead to huge changes. As I've worked through um, my healing journey, I've learned so much about myself. Why I did some of the things I did in my earlier life. I'll go back and relive parts of my life in my mind. And I'm like, why did I do that? That's not me. I, I've learned so much. I've learned that vulnerability is strength, and that it's okay to seek help. There was a time I didn't feel it. I thought you were crazy if you got help. But actually, it was the opposite. I was going crazy because I wasn't getting help. And I am worthy of the love and peace that I search for forever. But I will be honest, there are still those tough days. And there are days that something will trigger me. Like I had a surprising trigger happen about a month ago. And one of my friends that I hung out with in my teen years had passed away. And at first I thought maybe I was just so upset and anxious because I was thinking about my own demise. And then I realized that he was a huge part of the time, those teenage years of when the trauma was happening and my self medicating. And so I, it just subconsciously happened. It came out. And so I went back and, I continued to do all of my tools that I learned. And triggers, I realized they're not going to disappear completely. Some wounds are going to take longer to mend, but what's different now is how I respond to those triggers. I've learned to meet so many moments, like I said, with the tools that I've gained over the years. Healing for me is a haphazardly way, but that's okay. I had to come to terms with that. I'm used to that as long as it's a healthy result in the end. I mean, my life is kind of haphazardly all over. But to anyone who's watching this, I want you to know that your past doesn't define you. The fact that you're here, you're watching the video, it tells me that you are courageous and you're ready to take steps towards healing. So you're never too old to grow, you're never too old to heal or to embrace the life that you deserve. So let's continue this conversation. I'd like you to drop a comment below and share your thoughts or experiences. What's helped you on your healing journey? If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe, like, and please share it with someone who might need it. Thank you for joining me on this journey. And remember, every small step matters. And we'll see you next time. Thank you.